Listen to
Listen
me.
to me.
Listen to me.
Listen
Listen
to
to me.
me.
Listen to
Pero
me.
listen to
Listen
me.
to me.
Listen to me.
Listen to
Listen to
me.
me. Todos los jueves de 4 a 5 de la tarde, hora del este, por Splash 102.1 FM y todas las plataformas digitales para el mundo entero.
Listen to
Listen
me.
to
Listen
me.
to me.
Listen to me.
Pero listen to me.
Listen to me.
Listen to me.
Mundial más grande de la historia, con 104 partidos en 16 sedes. ¿Y sabe dónde va a ser?
¿Dónde va a ser? ¿Dónde va a ser? ¿Dónde va a
El
ser?
partido inaugural, nada más y nada menos, va a ser el 11 de junio en el emblemático Estadio Azteca de la Ciudad de México.
Anda, parcirete, eso va a estar prendido, encendido. Va a estar,
Ya lo sabes.
va a estar todos los mexicanos brincando y saltando.
Bueno, y hablando de México, nuestra invitada de hoy en ¿Cuál es el problema? Es precisamente mexicana. Oye, tenemos a medio México en sintonía con Listen to Me, pero usted no se vaya de ahí porque ella se llama, mire, María Fernanda Montoya Sánchez. Vaya googleándola, vaya buscándola, porque todavía tenemos que seguir hablando un poquito de que esta final, mira, va a finalizar, valga la redundancia, el 19 de julio. Esto va a ser en Estados Unidos, en el MetLife Stadium en Nueva York. El Mundial de Fútbol cierra el 19 de julio en Nueva York. Ahora, lo que sí me gusta de este evento de este año es que se van a despedir unos cuantos jugadores, Jay. Tú sabes que yo siempre he considerado que figuras como, por ejemplo, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, llevan ya 6 copas mundiales. ¿Tú sabes cuántos jugadores quisieran tener una oportunidad para brillar y destacarse? Así es que en este año se dice que estas figuras pues estarán pasando por última vez en esta Copa de la edición 2026. Y la lista la encabezan Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi y Luka Modric. Y esto también tienen por ahí a otro jugador mexicano, que es el portero Guillermo Ochoa, que también se despedirán de la actividad profesional. Así es que yo estoy contentísima, porque hay que ver nuevas caras. Y aunque son personas que han sido tan brillantes en el deporte, hay demasiado jugador bueno en todos estos países que están esperando una oportunidad. Así es que yo espero que se abran nuevos espacios para nuevos talentos.
Eso es así, va. Sea la gloria de Dios, porque yo sé que todo el mundo va a disfrutar de ese mundial y va a ser histórico y México va a estar brincando y saltando bien chévere para que ese mundial esté bien puesto. Y yo creo que se van a jugar hasta unos partidos aquí en los Estados Unidos, o vamos a ver.
Bueno, sí, en Estados Unidos, vamos a ver, porque yo espero que no sean tan lejos, porque Nueva York va a ser la final, así que me imagino que en Miami, no tengo la lista completa, pero por ahí, hay creo que son como 16 sedes de estos 104 partidos. Bueno, ¿y qué te parece si damos paso a nuestra invitada? Porque hay muchos problemas, Jay. ¿Tú sabes quién tiene un problema bien grande?
¿Quién?
La Junta Central Electoral de República Dominicana. Están metidos en tremendos problemas. Han tenido una demanda en el Tribunal de Nueva York. Condenaron a la Junta Central Electoral a pagar nada más y nada menos que $895,000 a empresa estadounidense por servicios impagos. Quiere decir que no pagaron.
¡Qué rayo!
Están en un lío bien grande. No, como decían por ahí, no me acuerdo quién pica y se extiende. Pero
como diría otro personaje, ¡qué bochinche!
Ajá, exactamente, que creo que vive ahí cerca de donde estás.
Exactamente.
Y tú sabes que en el año 2028 se celebran las elecciones presidenciales y congresuales en República Dominicana, y la Junta Central Electoral tiene el desafío de cedular a 9 millones de electores que esperan votar en las elecciones del 2028. Y este escándalo como que no luce a este tiempo. Precisamente hoy, 21 de mayo, estamos exactamente a 2 años de las elecciones presidenciales y congresuales en República Dominicana.
Ay.
Ya usted lo sabe, se enteró por aquí en Listen to Me. ¿Cuál
Eso
es
sí.
el problema?
Pues vamos con la entrevista. ¿Desde dónde?
Desde México. Este lugar, yo tengo dificultad para pronunciarlo, así que vámonos directamente para Guadalajara, para San Pedro Tlaquepaque, directamente con María Fernanda Montoya Sánchez.
All right.
Y damos paso a nuestra invitada especial de esta tarde. Y como toda dama encantadora, creación única de Dios, Pastor Jay, tengo una invitada, mira, y está bien lejos, directamente desde Guadalajara, San Pedro Tlaquepaque. ¿Lo pronuncié bien? Yo creo que sí. En México, directamente de México, nuestra invitada, le doy la más cordial bienvenida a María Fernanda Montoya Sánchez. Bienvenida a ¿Cuál es el problema?
Muchas gracias, Ana Rosa, y también a Jay por la invitación. Estoy aquí con ustedes y bueno, ahí está una pequeña explicación de dónde me ubico yo. Es Guadalajara, Jalisco, la capital, pero yo vivo en un pequeño entre comillas poblado que forma parte de la Mancha Metropolitana, que se llama San Pedro Tlaquepaque. Ahí es donde yo me ubico y de donde soy oriunda.
Bueno, pues yo te digo una cosa, María Fernanda, yo estoy acá cerquitita de Tampa, el pastor Jay Rodríguez está en Ocala, la capital del caballo, y tú estás en México. Gloria a Dios por las comunicaciones que nos unen. Y hoy tenemos un tema bien interesante porque quiero presentarles a mi invitada. Ella es, miren, modelo. Ella tiene un libro, ella escribe poemas, ella es coach ontológica especializada en PNL e inteligencia emocional. Es instructora de mindfulness. Es fundadora de colectivo Ananda. Tiene un programa precioso que se llama Reverdece. Es activista de personas con discapacidad y anda en su silla de rueda como toda una campeona, llevando un mensaje informativo a la comunidad, porque para las personas con discapacidad hay mucho que aprender todavía. Yo creo que con todo lo que tú eres, se me van los 15 minutos aquí, Fernanda.
Ya sé, se va el tiempo porque son muchas cosas, pero pues no me sé estar quieta. Aunque mi discapacidad me tiene quietita, yo no me sé estar quieta porque ando de arriba para abajo también, haciendo muchos proyectos.
Me parece formidable lo que estás haciendo, eres impresionante. Usted la tiene que buscar, dale tus redes sociales antes que nada, porque tenemos que hablar hoy sobre la diferencia de lo que es la discapacidad, la enfermedad y la limitación. Es un tema que tú llevas mucha reflexión en tus redes sociales. ¿Dónde te consiguen, María Fernanda?
Pues me pueden encontrar como soy, con Y, como de ser, .la Ananda con N, porque muchos me dicen Amanda, con M y es con N. Soy la Ananda y estoy en Instagram y estoy en TikTok. ¿Cómo? Y Reverdecer es el canal de YouTube, que es con S de sal, de ser, de reverdecer.
Bueno, cuéntales cuál es la diferencia, ese diálogo que tú has mantenido, esa puerta para el discurso, para el debate, para la reflexión sobre lo que es vivir con una discapacidad, una enfermedad o una condición.
Pues bueno, he entrado en debate en diferentes grupos porque algunos denominan su condición como una enfermedad, otros como discapacidad, que es el nombre oficial, y otros nos identificamos que tenemos una condición. ¿Por qué enfermedad no? Pues porque no se cura. Yo tengo una condición que se llama atrofia muscular espinal tipo 2, que es genética, y esta condición no tiene una cura. Entonces, como no tiene una cura, yo no la considero enfermedad. Está catalogada dentro de las enfermedades raras porque justamente no tiene una cura y hay pocos casos médicos clínicamente hablando. Pocos entre comillas porque a lo largo de los años llevo un tiempo investigando cuántos pacientes hay en diferentes partes del mundo. Hemos hecho grupos, hemos hecho juntadas virtuales y presenciales unas cuantas. Y pues cada vez hay más personas que tienen esta condición, ¿no? Pero pues yo no la considero enfermedad porque no tiene una cura. Esta condición es de nacimiento, existen 4 tipos. La tipo 1, que es la más severa, y es lo que te comentaba Ana Rosa, que son chiquititos que casi desde que salen del vientre de sus mamis, como a los 6 meses, empieza a presentar esta condición, lo cual les impide respirar, comer, hacer sus actividades cotidianas, y por lo regular utilizan botones gástricos, respiradores, y pues desde muy pequeños. Yo tengo el tipo 2 junto con mi hermana, que es el moderado, por así decirse. Hay casos en los que sí hemos llegado a pararnos, a estar de pie, pero por lo general somos usuarios de sillas de ruedas desde muy chiquitos. El tipo 3 se presenta en la adolescencia, como entre los 8 y 15 años, y el tipo 4 en la adultez. Entonces, como apenas están saliendo unos fármacos, ya tienen como unos, ¿qué serán? 10, 11 años que salieron unos fármacos, ahora sí que al público, de Spinraza, Risdiplam y Zolgensma, pues es con la finalidad de mejorar la calidad de vida de los pacientes. Sin embargo, los costos son exorbitantes, inalcanzables, los trámites burocráticos también hacen más cansado el camino, y que los resultados son muy, pues, dudosos. O sea, es más el gasto que el beneficio, y yo por eso me opuse a acceder a estos tratamientos, porque siento que no es justo. Siento que es como engañar a la gente, darle falsas ilusiones y esperanzas, cuando es una condición que avanza con el paso del tiempo. Se van perdiendo habilidades y facultades, y no queda más que tener un buen acompañamiento terapéutico, tanto terapia física, pulmonar, respiratoria, como también yo siento que tanatológica, emocional y espiritual. Es por eso que yo decidí estudiar coaching, porque yo dentro de mi proceso y mis procesos he requerido pues de este apoyo para entender por qué mi cuerpo pierde habilidades y qué puedo hacer con lo que me queda, ¿no? Entonces es por eso que yo decidí estudiar coaching posterior a mi carrera profesional, que es la licenciatura en Ciencias y Técnicas de la Comunicación. Hice mi especialidad en periodismo digital, pero mi llamado ha sido más que nada para dar motivación tanto a mí como a otras personas y encontrarle un propósito a nuestra vida. Entonces, pues les decía, enfermedad no es, discapacidad tampoco la considero, porque una discapacidad tácitamente dice que no eres capaz, y sí somos capaces de hacer muchas cosas. Estamos incapacitados para unas y muy sobrecapacitados para otras. Dios compensa unas cosas por otras. Y condición, ¿por qué condición? Sí me identifico como una condición de vida diversa, porque lo que condiciona es el entorno, la cuestión estructural, la cuestión de accesibilidad, la cuestión actitudinal de las personas. Eso es lo que principalmente nos limita, más allá de la deficiencia que pueda tener mi cuerpo, o que podamos tenerla incluso cognitiva, mental, intelectual, etcétera.
María Fernanda, en este programa Listen to Me, ¿cuál es el problema? Tratamos siempre de llevar un mensaje de paz y de amor, y tenemos que irnos a la historia. Jesús rompió con los prejuicios en su época y el estigma social, y eso lo podemos encontrar en Lucas 14, el versículo 13 y 14. Lee: mas cuando hagas banquete, llama a los pobres, los mancos, los cojos y los ciegos, y serás bienaventurado, porque ellos no te pueden recompensar, pero te será recompensado en la resurrección de los justos. Los prejuicios y toda esta falta de información que muchas sociedades están tan atrasadas. Yo que nací en República Dominicana, estaba mirando sobre las estadísticas para la condición de la atrofia muscular espinal y verdaderamente están bien atrasados. Estuve viendo que en México también hay muchas desigualdades. Si tú pudieras hacer algún cambio en la ley para las personas con discapacidades, por tu experiencia y la de tu familia, porque tienes una hermana que también que padece de tu condición, ¿qué cambio tú le harías a la ley?
Pues lo haría de tal manera que pudiera facilitar a las personas tener acceso a los servicios básicos, tanto a las investigaciones, tratamientos, rehabilitación, accesibilidad, que es como lo primordial para poder acceder a una vida plena, ¿no? Es como que lo que también es una lucha que estamos teniendo con otros colectivos diferentes, en donde vemos por la autonomía de las personas con discapacidad. Justamente con esta inquietud se creó Colectivo Ananda, que es un grupo de adultos con discapacidad que estamos ahora sí como que uniéndonos, pues ahora sí que para ver desde qué manera o punto incidir en todo este tejido social. Hay compañeros que son politólogos, abogados, psicólogos, terapeutas, taxistas, de todo habemos, pero que unidos, ¿cómo podemos transformar esa nueva visión en donde la persona con discapacidad ya no se queda callada? La persona con discapacidad piensa, habla, propone y contribuye a la sociedad. Esa es la transformación que estamos teniendo nosotros, y que justamente los que son politólogos y se dedican a las cuestiones de leyes, como mi hermana, están incidiendo de a poquito para ahora sí que ver cómo transformarse. Ellos que saben cómo se hacen las leyes, a dónde hay que ir, pero lo malo es que las personas que están ahí en las leyes, en las cuestiones de legislaturas y todo esto, desconocen el tema y ni siquiera saben la terminología correcta y exacta, ni siquiera conocen la necesidad, y es lo que yo peleo constantemente, incluso con mi hermana, ¿no? Yo soy más pez del internet, yo me la paso en internet y me regañan mucho por eso, pero es que yo hablo con personas de todas partes del mundo y he investigado en España, incluso un poquito de Suiza, Argentina, Colombia, Costa Rica, cómo sus leyes han favorecido a las personas con discapacidad desde una visión de la asistencia personal, que ese es otro tema que en algún otro programa podríamos tocar, que eso es algo elemental también para nosotros. Como nuestro cuerpo va perdiendo funcionalidades, les comentaba que los chiquitos pues ni siquiera para deglutir tienen fuerza, necesitan enfermería 24/7, servicios de enfermería 24/7 en esos casos tan extremos, y es súper demandante para las familias en todos los aspectos, en lo económico, en lo emocional, espiritual, en todos los aspectos, y no hay ahora sí que una ley que nos respalde en cubrir estos gastos, como en Argentina, que sí lo hay, existen obras sociales, pero está delimitado por zonas geográficas. Solamente las personas que son de capital son las que tienen acceso a este tipo de servicios, y que es subsidiado por parte, pues una parte del Estado y otra parte de civiles, porque las obras sociales están sostenidas por empresarios. Entonces, como que con base a esos contextos históricos y de procesos, siento y percibo que aquí en México hace mucha falta por hacer ese tipo de propuestas, y separar lo que es ser asistente a lo que es ser un cuidador. El asistente es tus manos y tus piernas, básicamente, tu cómplice, o sea, y el cuidador es alguien a quien se le asignan las atenciones de las personas con discapacidad, pero desgraciadamente no es remunerado. Es por lo general un familiar, alguien cercano, un vecino, qué sé yo, pero no es remunerado la mayoría de veces. Y están legislando para que tengan un sueldo cuando debería de ser un trabajo profesionalizado en donde se obtenga como una especie de título universitario y capacitación, como sucede en Argentina. Ahí se les da una capacitación que obtienen un título para ejercer esa labor.
Inclusive muchas familias optan por trasladarse a Estados Unidos porque aquí, bendito sea Dios, hay muchas oportunidades para que las familias puedan venir más aliviadas cuando les toca enfrentar la realidad de llevar a una criatura con problemas de discapacidad, sea determinada a temprana edad o sea en el transcurso de su vida, por diferentes razones, porque llegamos aquí y no sabemos cómo nos vamos. Hay muchas personas que pues pierden extremidades y pasan muchas cosas. Para las personas discapacitadas en Estados Unidos hay muchas oportunidades. María Fernanda, el tiempo se nos ha agotado. Yo quisiera permitirte que tú hablaras 3 horas sobre este tema que te apasiona y que sabemos que hay tanta necesidad de escuchar las voces de ustedes que están confinados a una silla de rueda, necesitan la asistencia permanente de quien les dé la mano y necesitan ser tratados con dignidad, con respeto, porque son obras especiales y maestras de Dios y tienes una capacidad extraordinaria de motivar. Envíamele un mensaje a tu mamá, a tu papá, a tus hermanas, porque me imagino que tienes que estar muy agradecida de la familia donde te ha tocado vivir.
Pues estoy agradecida por todo lo que han hecho, por todos los sacrificios, por todos los que nos ha tocado atravesar, tanto lo bueno como lo malo. Pero de cada una de las cosas he obtenido aprendizajes y tengo gratitud por lo que he vivido, ya que a muchas otras personas pues no les han tocado las mismas oportunidades que a mí, y que yo desde que estudié mi carrera dije que quería hacer voz para aquellos que no podían hablar, y justamente es como esta parte de cumplir la misión de todos, cada uno aportando desde su granito de arena para poder hacer las cosas. Y que pues es eso, nada más agradecerles por traerme al mundo, por haberme llevado a la escuela, por haberme atendido, por haber accedido a muchos lugares y conocer muchas situaciones, que aunque discrepamos en cuestiones ideológicas, porque pienso las cosas diferentes, pues mi amor por ellos sí está y existe, y también la gratitud.
Qué linda, muchísimas gracias María Fernanda. Yo me despido de ustedes y los dejo en buena compañía con el pastor Jay Rodríguez en Listen to Me. Ya escucharon cuál es el problema. Linda tarde, bendiciones para todos.
All right. Tenemos ahí algo bien chévere. Muy bueno. All right, Ana Rosa, eso estuvo brutal. Estaba como de jonrón eso. Muy interesante.
Cada semana tratamos de llevarle siempre temas que fortalezcan las necesidades de conocer que no todo lo que nosotros tenemos aquí es lo que el mundo entero está viviendo. Y yo entiendo que tenemos que ser solidarios con este tipo de personas que, aunque están a distancia, mira cómo nos enteramos nosotros de lo que está sucediendo en México con este tipo de condición de atrofia muscular espinal. Y tú sabes, Pastor Jay, que estuve mirando que María Fernanda tiene mucha razón, no existe un censo oficial exhaustivo, y no solamente en México, a nivel general, porque como ella mencionaba, una enfermedad rara, por lo que estas cifras no son exactas, son estimaciones. Y tú sabes lo que es basado, ¿verdad?, en la incidencia global. Dicen que 1 por cada 6,000 a 10,000 nacidos vivos padecen de esta condición. Más de 1,000 personas viven con AVE, como le llaman, en México. Así que en Estados Unidos hay otras cifras, en el mundo entero estamos viendo que hay muchas familias que la pasan duro, Pastor Jay. Tenemos que ser solidarios.
Eso es así, tenemos que estar solidarios y darle nuestras oraciones para que sigan y estos son los, como yo digo, uno va a las películas a ver estas películas de superhéroes, pero en la vida real ahí está, la vida nos enseña estos superhéroes que están a través de todo el mundo y ella es uno de ellos.
Así mismo, y vamos a seguir unidas, vamos a apoyar las iniciativas que está llevando su proyecto de Reverdece, y sabemos que Dios nunca se equivoca, todo obra para bien para los que creemos en Dios.
Amén.
Yo creo que yo me pasé de tiempo hoy.
No te preocupes, usted siga bateando esos honrones que nosotros seguimos por aquí en Listen to Me.
¿Cuál es el problema? Bueno, yo me despido de ustedes, los dejo en buenísima compañía. Pastor Jay, recuerda hacer el bien y no mire a quién.
Exactamente. Muchísimas gracias, Ana Rosa, y será hasta la próxima semana en ¿Cuál es el problema? En Listen to Me.
Y antes de irme, si usted me quiere seguir, usted me encuentra en Facebook como Ana Rosa Arias, o me puede encontrar como Esta Mujer Soy Yo en todas las plataformas de podcast. Que pasen todos una linda y bendecida tarde.
Muchísimas gracias, Ana Rosa. Y ese será ¿Cuál es el problema? Well, my friends, it is a beautiful day here in Ocala, Florida, and we have finished our Spanish segment. We're going to play a little bit of music because we're going to have a guest all the way from California. So we're going to get her on the line real quick. In the meantime, enjoy Norman Lee Schaefer's Child of God. All right. Chelsea, ready? All right, we're going to break the song and then we're going to go with you. One moment, please. All right, this is the award-winning show, Listen to Me. I am very blessed and honored to have a very special guest all the way from the West Coast in the state of California. And we're going to let her introduce herself. How you doing, my dear? Are you there on the line?
Yes, I'm here, Pastor JJ. Thank you so much for having me on. My name's Chelsea Garcia, and yes, I'm here in Hollywood. I work in a museum about L. Ron Hubbard's life.
Fantastic. Hollywood, California. Well, we got to specify because there's a Hollywood, Florida. So you're in Hollywood, California. Yes, you're in the West Coast. And how is the weather over there in Hollywood, California?
It's beautiful. I mean, it's hot, but it's not too hot, and it's a pleasant, not quite summertime yet, but it's very, the sunny Southern California is the best weather, in my opinion.
All right. I won't complain there because that's on my bucket list to go and visit you and that beautiful museum. So, you are in charge of the L. Ron Hubbard Museum in Hollywood, California. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yes, the museum has been here for 35 years now, actually.
Wow. 35 years. Okay. I am a study of his books for at least 30 months, and I feel that he is a very interesting man to know because he lived a life to the fullest. He was an explorer, he was an engineer, he created Dianetics, he created Scientology, he created a movement in the 1950s that is still resonating almost 80 years after the creation of Dianetics. Is that true?
That is very true. He did so many things. He lived life from the top down and the bottom up and really saw travel at a young age. So he really saw the world, and he loved people. So he studied 21 different cultures by the time he was 30, even.
Wow, 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 wow. And he even visited my ancestral home of Puerto Rico in the 1930s, which is what
Right.
even got me a little bit more interested in him. And I just have to say that his life is worth understanding. So let's jump really quick into this. Basically, my dear, let me see here. You said that the exhibit started 30 years ago. So what was the exact date that the exhibit started?
So it actually opened, the grand opening. We actually closed down Hollywood Boulevard, believe it or not.
Wow.
Hollywood and Ivar, yeah, Hollywood and Ivar was closed down. Everybody was, situated in chairs on the corner. There was fireworks and balloons. It was a whole thing, and that was April 20th, 1991. So 35 years ago, in April was when we had the grand opening.
Wow, 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 wow. And from that time on to today, can you give us a rough estimate of how many people has visited that museum?
Oh yeah. So the thing is that they're guided tours, right? So it could take anywhere from an hour to sometimes people have a lot of questions or they want to see more videos from our TV channel, etc. So it could take a couple hours. So we do specifically guided tours. So there's been about 350,000 guests from all over the world
Wow.
that have toured. Realize it's also Hollywood's an international city. So we've actually had people from Australia, China, all over Europe, Mexico, Buenos Aires, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
We've had people from all over the world. Africa, a lot of people from Africa have come. So we have the opportunity to introduce the tourists of Hollywood and the locals to his life.
Fantastic. Chelsea, tell me how, when a person, I know that it's a little bit hard to describe because we're on radio, but when they go in, how does it, you say they're guided tours, so tell us, give us a miniature guided tour through what do they expect once they're in there?
Sure. So what happens is in the lobby it gives an overview of the building itself because the building is a historic landmark in Hollywood. It was built in 1923. It had its grand opening in 1924. And so it's an Art Deco building. It's a historic landmark. And it was Bank of America on the bottom floor for about 50 years.
Wow.
So, yeah. So when we purchased it, meaning the Church of Scientology, we purchased it and did an entire restoration of the building on the exterior and the interior to bring it back to its historic splendor from the 1920s.
Wow.
And believe it or not, Charlie Chaplin even had an office in the other parts of the building. They were like rented offices, basically. So Charlie Chaplin had an office. There was a famous newspaper columnist named Hedda Hopper. She was also had an office there. Also, Cecil B. DeMille, he is like the grandfather of movie industry.
Yes.
Yeah, so he also had an office in this building. So it has a lot of rich history for Hollywood. So that's very important to us. So you get to see a little historical board on the building, and then you go right into the museum itself. We'll take you through the life of L. Ron Hubbard in the chronology, in essence. Like you get to see him as America's youngest Eagle Scout, and there's like artifacts, right? Like his artifacts, such as the badges that he earned.
Yes.
You also have the bugle that he played when he was in scouting. There's in every single display there's quotes from L. Ron Hubbard from that time period. So there's like quotes from him on his time as a Boy Scout and then America's youngest Eagle Scout. The first culture he studied were the Blackfeet Native Americans, and he grew up in Montana. So there's a whole display about the Blackfeet. His first published novel, believe it or not.
Wow.
The Blackfeet. Yeah. And it's a historical fiction. It's an incredible actual story, and it was published in 1937. And he was 26 at the time, and we have an original copy on display and a manuscript, as well as artifacts from the Blackfeet of today, because the medicine man is our friend, so he comes every so often, and beautiful guy.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you see the cultures he studied. He was a professional in photography.
Yep.
So he did over 40,000 photographs during his travels. He loved, taking photos of the culture, the places he went. He also was a musician, so he played many different instruments from all the cultures that he studied, like from the Philippines to China to Africa, Puerto Rico even. Like, so wherever he would go, when he would travel and he'd study the cultures, he also learned their language, he learned their music, art. He took photographs, so there's a lot of rich, he loves people, so that's a lot of what you'll see is like what he took away from meeting all the people he met.
Yeah, that is so awesome, and yes, I remember seeing, I have some of his books from his memoirs, where he talked extensively about Puerto Rico and did one of the first mineral studies in the island back in the 30s. So that is very interesting. Is that showcased in the museum also?
It is. There's an entire display. Specifically, it has a very large, beautiful photograph of him heading that expedition in 1932. And there's a photograph of him. We have the helmet that he used. There's a compass that he used when he was there. It shows the maps and the essays that he did, based on the minerals that he found, which a lot of it was silica, which we use today for plastic and glass, so that was a big deal. I don't know if you know this, but two things. One, he called Puerto Rico his dearest island.
Yes, he did. I did know that. I did know that. Because I had the.
Very proud.
Yes, I'm very proud of that too, because I had the honor of helping the Ideal Org of Puerto Rico, and that was one of the first things that they showed me and told me, and also that he picked up on Spanish, and it is true because I've heard him in several of his lectures that I do have the honor of having. He uses the word poco a poco, and when he said that, I was like, whoa, he did speak Spanish. So that is awesome. So you actually have the helmet hat that he wore on that famous photograph of him leading the mineral expedition. You have that there in that museum.
So yeah, we have the exact replica. So that is like inexact even down to the marks and the things on the actual hat. There are a few originals here, but a majority of the originals of L. Ron Hubbard are in archives to be kept safe in archives. But I do have, for example, when he was in Alaska, he had a navigational tool which is called a sextant.
Yes.
And yeah, so that, for example, is actually his original that he held, which he had. So that is there, and there's a lot of other ones there too, and a lot of very special history and artifacts there.
Wow. Well, definitely then that's in my bucket list, to go to Hollywood, California, and visit you and visit the museum, because that would be a how could I say, the highlight of just going to California would be seeing that exhibit, that part of the exhibit of that museum where he explored Puerto Rico, and of course seeing all these other artifacts and things that I understand that probably they're replicas, some are the original articles, but it is so awesome to have this historic perspective of a man who fundamentally wanted to change the world for the better. I cannot imagine. So are there special hours of operation? How can people arrange these tours?
Yeah, so we're open every day from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and every day is like the weekdays, including the weekend. So that works for anybody who would like to come. So it's every single day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The best way is we do scheduled tours. So they, if someone wants to come, you can email us. And should I say the email?
Yes, please say the email. You can say any information, because remember, even though this station is locally here in Marion County, Florida, through the internet, and also afterwards we edit the show and it goes into our YouTube channel, which is BBN Info in YouTube, or our website bbninfo.com. I know for a fact that we are cracking almost 2,000 to 3,000 people in California. So now that we're giving more news and information about California, I hope that we could get more listenership. So yes, say the email, please.
Okay, great. So the email to schedule a tour is exhibition@lrunhubbard.org.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Exhibition@lrunhubbard.org, or you can call, which is 323-960-3511. That is the number for the front desk of the museum. So if you prefer to call, you can do that, or email. We do, for those who are in LA, we also do have outside on the front doors, we have a QR code which anyone can scan and schedule a tour as well. So that's also how we have tours scheduled, is from the QR code that is placed on the front doors.
Fantastic. It is so awesome. And what are the reactions when you I assume that you've participated and given some of these tours, but what is the physical reaction? I must imagine it's like a shock and awe. Do you have a lot of kids with wild eyes going like, whoa, wow? What is the reaction of the adults and children that see these exhibits?
Yeah, well, so even for children, it's very fun because, it's a museum. So, for example, we have, model airplanes that he flew, which are hanging down from the ceiling. So you see his glider plane, and you see his biplane, which is motorized, that he flew in the 1930s. You also see a full-on New York newsstand where his original pulp short stories were presented there, and it's got a little mannequin who is like the person who is at the newsstand. So it's very immersive and, very specific to each display, has its own theme, has its own thing. So children love it. They also learn new things, which, kids are eager to learn. So this is something for everybody. No matter what age you are, this museum, we tour people of all ages. And, adults or people who have heard of L. Ron Hubbard or heard of Dianetics and Scientology are honestly, I guess the word would be, they would mostly say they had no idea. And they would say they had no idea he did that much. And how could one man have done all that? Because he was a professional in so many fields that in one lifetime, usually someone is a professional in one or two, but he's over 20 professions, master mariner, he was in the Navy during World War II, and then he also, his whole purpose in everything was to, leave a legacy behind that people could use to better their own life and better the lives of those around them that they care about. And then in turn, that just makes a better world overall, because if you help the individual, then the world becomes a better place. So it really just shows you the purpose. Like in everything he touched and everything he did, he made it better. And he left the legacy behind because it's for everybody. That's one of his principles, wisdom is meant for anyone who wishes to reach for it.
Yep, and like one of his books that he wrote in the 1980s, The Way to Happiness, one of the last precepts is to flourish and prosper. So
exactly.
Why wouldn't we want to flourish and prosper? I just don't understand that. Chelsea, this L. Ron Hubbard was, some people say that he was a genius, that he excelled. You're right, he excelled in multiple professions. He tried to create, he did his legacy He tried to leave the world a better place than he found it. Why do you think, and I think we talked about this before you came on the air, why do you feel that there's people that react negative to his life and what his achievements? Can you give me a little insight into that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, if there are anybody who has any negative something, what I have found is that they just don't know.
Exactly.
They haven't actually looked for themselves. They're just hearing, you know, the things that they hear from others. And, you know, honestly, the biggest thing is to keep your own integrity. And this is not just about L. Ron Hubbard or Dianetics or Scientology, but in life, you know, with people you meet or professions that you're working in, you know, you have to be able to keep your own integrity and know what's true for you. But the best way to do that is to look for yourself. So what I have found is, you know, the negativity is the media puts that out there to whatever degree, and then if you don't look for yourself, you don't see, is that true or not, you know, and that's honestly why we have the museum, why it's been here for 35 years, why we also started a TV channel, is to just show people, simply show them, and then they can make a decision for themselves, because you can't force a person to, you know, want to study something or change their life or whatever. They have to see that that's something they want to do, and they have to see that there is a solution that works, that they can use to help them do that. And so that's really the purpose of the museum, our TV channel, everything that we have. Any information centers in any of our Scientology organizations are all there for people to look for themselves. And then by looking for yourself, you can decide, you know, is what that guy over there said true, or do I feel this works for me and could help me? So it's really, that's really what it's all about, is just to help people to see for themselves, make their own decision, not because someone else said so.
And it's true, because L. Ron Hubbard also wrote about that dichotomy. And it's also in the handbook, Volunteer Minister's Handbook. So he knew way before, and that's kind of like the genius, because 2026, whatever he wrote in that time, it's still relevant today. So when you have people that are kind of saying like, well, you know, have they passed by through the museum, and then they're kind of like iffy about L. Ron Hubbard, then all of a sudden when they see the museum and they walk through the museum, they change their tune because they've already gotten data that is correct and true?
That's a really good question, and yeah, that is absolutely happens every day, you know, because you have whatever social media, you have the media in general, or hearsay, or this sort of thing. And so we have people who walk in that are, you know, they think one way about it because of what they've heard or what they've seen or whatever. And then after they come through, it's like, they're like, wow, I really had no idea, and I don't understand why, you know, whatever negativity is going on. So it does change only because the point is you're giving the true information, you're showing the life of an incredible person who cared about people. And all faiths, you know, it's not about, you know, just anything. It's any faith, all people, no matter what race, color, or creed, that knowledge is for everybody. Because knowledge is power, and the more you can know about yourself and about life, the better you can do and handle life. And so that's really what it's all about. And when people really see that, then they have the opportunity also to ask us questions and say, hey, I heard about blah. And then it's like, okay, well, let me show you. And then you can actually just handle their questions or the things that they heard that they just don't understand, and then you can help them to see, and they can decide for themselves whether or not what they heard was true.
Yeah, and recently, I don't know if you know, I do think that you know what happened in Germany after 30 years of surveillance. Finally, the German government said, nope, nothing more to do here. But they ruined some lives in Germany of Scientologists and stuff like that. So that is an example of how how when you don't have the right data, a lot of bad things can happen. You mentioned about the TV network. You're talking about Scientology TV?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The
Well,
Scientology.tv. That's
yep.
like you can go on YouTube.
Or the app. Yeah, we have an app also. Yeah.
That's exactly right. There's the app. You can also go to DirecTV if you have that Roku. There's many ways to watch. Even if you don't have cable or anything, if you just have an antenna, in some places, like in Los Angeles, for example, it's channel 22.
Mm-hmm.
In Clearwater, they have their own channel. Tampa also has its own channel. So we're trying to set it up so that people from everywhere, of all walks of life, can find out and get knowledge to better, themselves, their friends, their family, etc.
Well, yeah, it's an awesome. I love it. I think there's some really good documentaries in there. Some phenomenal jazz concerts.
Oh yeah.
And the best thing of it is it's free.
Yeah. Right.
Is
oh
there,
my God.
That's one of the sometimes people are thriving for good content, wholesome content, because it's for the whole family. There's things for the kids, there's the things for the adult. You learn how to better your life. You know what's going on with your mind. You understand how things are working. There's documentaries on how psychotropic drugs can be harmful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the things that I have to ask you, is there any possibilities or any future plans of having a partial mobile exhibit of his life, travel the United States? Is there anything going like that?
That is a really awesome idea.
I'm glad because I think that taking from another counterpart of yours, which is the Citizens Commission on Human Rights, they have a mobile museum on psychiatry. I think this would be a great way to showcase how fabulous L. Ron Hubbard was and his legacy of what he wanted to try and do to change the world.
You know what? I fully agree with you, and I think that is a very good idea. I know that in, I think it was 1999, 2000, that there were L. Ron Hubbard traveling exhibits that went through Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, which was really awesome. Went to Spain, Spain, France, I think Germany, I'm pretty sure. But it was huge. Like, it definitely created a lot of, good friends that we still have today, and also just really, like you're saying, just show people, who he was. So I know it was happening, and so I believe that there is a plan to do that in the future. I just don't know exactly when we will do that, but it's definitely on the list of things that we need to do.
All right. Well, can I ask only one thing? That if you do that traveling exhibit, can I be included in this? I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I love it.
Well, yeah, I think it would be an awesome thing to do, especially bringing it to Clearwater, Tampa, Orlando, Ocala, Gainesville. I think we should do like we just should dedicate it around Florida, and then from there move it through the rest of the eastern seaboard.
I love it. Yeah.
Count me in. I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I wrote it down.
All right. Yes.
I will let you know immediately once we have this figured out, so we can let you know.
All right. Well, we're going to put it in postulate right now, and put it out there. Another thing, I know that the time we're about to run out of time.
Okay.
You have so many things to talk about, and you're also involved with the Writers of the Future, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
It is a wonderful contest.
All right. So we're going to leave our listenership with that, because we're going to say, like, we can't just blurt out everything in the first date, honey. No, we can't do this.
Right.
We can't do this in everything in the first time. But
Yes.
we would be very grateful if you could come on the show again and talk to us about this competition and how it has forged many people that they, when they listen to the names, they're gonna go like, oh yeah, I remember this TV series and I remember that, and you know, what could I say? One of my favorite books is Ay Pedrito. with that, I've said it all.
Fantastic one.
Yes, that's a awesome book, and we'll talk about it in the next show. So, do you mind if we try to coordinate another call where you could talk to us about the writers of the future?
I would love to, and even if you want, I can even arrange someone from the actual contest itself to also talk about it if you'd like. You just let me know, but absolutely, whichever way, we do it.
All right. Well, that's another left hook to the competition, because you know we're not the competition. We're just better than the competition. So you know, listen to me. Well, Chelsea, anything else that you would like to say before we leave?
I just really appreciate what you're doing. You know, representing several faiths and you know, putting good things out there and being positive. We need more of you. I love it and really appreciate you. And, you know, it's great. I hope that one day you will be able to come to Hollywood, California, and we will absolutely give you the VIP tour through the museum.
All right. Yes, my wife.
Yeah.
My wife will love that, because we love going to the museums and studying different things, and of course Hollywood, California, where the movie business started. Yes, I want to be part of that. I do want to be part of that. And to quote a very famous movie, Casablanca, I hope this is the beginning of a beautiful business friendship.
That's awesome. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Chelsea. I will contact you during the week, and looking forward to, yes, I do have to plan that trip to California. That's another one for our bucket list too. We're gonna have to plan that one.
Absolutely. Okay, I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. We'll talk later.
Okay, thank you, Pastor JJ. Have a good week and weekend.
All right, guys, mi gente. This is Listen to Me. All right, my friends, another historic show has come and passed. Want to leave you with some words. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling like life is kind of cramping on towards you, remember this. If you give your life to Jesus, if you give your problems to Jesus, Jesus can solve all problems, anything that you're going through. Whatever you think is the storm in a glass will disappear, because once you surrender to Jesus, everything can happen. Well, this is the end of another show of the legendary show, Listen to Me. It will be till next Thursday from 4 to 5. Till then, God bless. I love you all. And as I always say, I will pray for you. Please pray for me. Listen to me!
Listen to me. ¿Cuál es el problema? Con el pastor Jay Rodríguez y Ana Rosa.
Depression and the Christian. Arthur W. Pink, 1886 to 1952. Brought to you by chapellibrary.org. When Providence appears to frown, most of us are apt to be depressed. It is true that some possess a more mercurial temperament than others, their feelings undergoing a change as frequently as the barometer does in fluctuating weather, one day in the mountain top, the next in the slough of the despond. Yet, even those more stable and equitable are liable to be cast down in spirit when faced by a trying situation, and everything seems to be against them. If it be human to err, it is equally human to be dejected when our circumstances are distressing and our experience be a painful one. We shall, therefore, raise the inquiry, is it wrong to be cast down? That is a question which does not admit of an unqualified yes or no in reply. It depends upon the cause and occasion of such despondency, upon the duration thereof, upon the accompaniments and effects of the same. If lowness of spirits were something sinful per se, then it would necessarily follow that God requires us to live as stoics in this world, uninfluenced, unaffected by whatever goes on either within or without us. It certainly is not wrong to be deeply concerned over our sins, nor to be affected thereby, for our Lord declared, "Blessed are they that mourn." Matthew 5:4. It certainly is not unlawful for us to take to heart the low state of Christ's cause in this world, nor should we be callously indifferent as we behold this pleasure-loving generation rushing madly unto a hopeless eternity. The Saviour himself wept over Jerusalem, Luke 19:41, as he contemplated its rejection of himself and foresaw the fearful judgments shortly to fall upon it. But if I be gloomy and glum simply because my will has been crossed and my cherished plans thwarted, that is reprehensible. If I so mourn over my sins as to give way to a spirit of despair, instead of availing myself of 1 John 1:9, or if I so take to heart the sad state of Christendom as to become incapacitated for the performance of duty, that is blameworthy. It is wrong to allow any grief to mar my communion with God or prevent my rejoicing in Him. Thus, it is the part of wisdom to investigate the cause of my despondency and inquire with the psalmist, "Why art thou cast down, O my soul? Why art thou disquieted within me?" Psalm 42, 5 and 11. He desired to know the reason for his being dispirited. Often that is the first step toward recovery from such a state. As Charles H. Spurgeon said, to search out the cause of our sorrow is the best surgery for grief. When thoroughly disheartened, we need to take ourselves to task and carefully examine and cross-examine ourselves. If it be only your pride or your self-confidence that be cast down, well and good. But if it be a delighting yourself in the Lord and enjoying fellowship in Him that is cast down, then unbelief lies at the root of your complaint. Even though the divine rod be upon you, the exhortation is, "My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of Him." Hebrews 12:5. Neither harden yourself against it, nor be crushed by it. Suffer not a haughty spirit, which refuses to be humbled under the hand of God, nor give way to a despairing heart, which sinks beneath it. It should be carefully noted that David did more than make inquiry. He preached to himself, "Hope thou in God." That is what the despondent soul needs to do. Nothing else will bring relief to the heart. The immediate outlook may be dark, but the divine promises are bright. The world may be at its wit's end, but the Christian need not be so. The creature may fail you, but the Creator will not, if you truly put your trust in Him, as this writer has proved times without number. There is one who is a very present help in trouble, and He never deserts those who really make Him their refuge. Though faith and hope be distinct graces, the latter is never exercised when the former is inactive. That is clear from such passages as Romans 5:2 and 15:13. Faith looks upward, hope looks onward. Faith lays hold of the divine promises, hope sustains the heart during the interval, enabling us to wait patiently for the fulfillment. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Psalm 30, verse 5. Hope thou in God. Repining and murmuring will get you nowhere. Fretting and wringing the hands bring no relief either temporally or spiritually. The more pressing your situation or acute your circumstances, the better the opportunity for proving the sufficiency of God. Faith cannot be exercised when everything needful is at hand to sight. If it be for past follies that God is now chastening you, then hope in His mercy. If you penitently confess your sins, there is abundant mercy with Him to blot them all out. Isaiah 55:7. If it be over financial straitness and the drying up of accustomed supplies that you be cast down, hope in God's power. If every door seems shut against you and every channel of help fast closed, yet nothing is too hard for the Almighty, as Elijah proved in time of famine. Hope in His faithfulness. Men may have deceived you, failed to fulfill their engagements, friends turned their backs upon you in the hour of need, but He who cannot lie is to be depended upon. Doubt neither His promises nor His loving kindness. For I shall yet praise Him, who is the health of my countenance. Psalm 42, verse 11. That peculiar term suggests that David's soul being cast down was to be attributed partly to his physical condition. as is so often the case with God's people, for suffering of the body reacts upon the spirit. Spurgeon was evidently of the same mind, for one of his comments was, "My God will clear away the furrows from my brow, and the tear marks from my cheeks, and therefore will I lift up my head and smile in the face of the strait." Such is ever the blessed assurance of those who truly hope in God. They know that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivereth him out of them all. Psalm 34:19. When the fiery trial has done its work and your bonds are burned off, like Daniel's friends, you will then thank God for the trials which are now so unpleasant. Then confidently anticipate the future. Whatever be the cause, heed that word, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. Psalm 37:24. Blessed assurance is that, and one which should be regarded in its widest scope. A good man may fall, as David did, in a most deplorable manner, yet he was not cast down to rise no more, as are those abandoned by God, but was recovered by repentance. He may fall into various errors, but he shall not be suffered to make shipwreck of the faith. He may, through trying circumstances, fall into a state of gloom, yet God will not cast him off. Sooner or later he shall prove that God comforteth those that are cast down. The time of our distress is commonly that of God's gracious intervention, and it is then we should strongly endeavor to expect it. The objects of his tenderest solicitude are those in desperate situations. Thou wilt save the afflicted people, Psalm 18:27. He who dwells in the high and holy place dwells also in his children, to revive the spirit of the humble and to revive the heart of the contrite ones. Isaiah 57:15. From Studies in the Scriptures, February 1953. Brought to you by Chapel Library, www.chapellibrary.org.